Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to continue on the Mustang here. I got some advice on the heads and I think we're going to be okay. What I'll have to do is just get a little bit of a longer bolt that'll go through the casting there, that where the intake bolts to it. It's thick enough to where it's still structural. The intake does have like 12 bolts, plus they're only torqued to like 40 foot-pounds. Nothing like substantial. I mean, overly substantial. So I feel like it's going to be okay to just bolt the intake back on, use the heads, and I'll have to really do much work other than that. Eventually I would like to go ahead and upgrade and get some aluminum heads, maybe some Edelbrocks or something, just to kind of match everything. That'll be maybe a year or so, maybe the next winter's project, but as of right now I'm just going to use the stock ones, put them back in, get this thing buttoned up. I did buy something I'm pretty excited for, a little bit of an upgrade here. I've been wanting a electronic ignition upgrade for a while for this thing. It's always kind of been hard starting. I did notice the points were starting to get a little bit corroded. I mean, I read that sometimes you have to adjust them every 3,000 miles. I mean, that seems excessive to me, but I don't know much about them. So I made the plunge since I don't have to buy heads, and I saved a little bit of money on the work of this. I bought a Protronics, like I said, just the regular igniter, not the 2 or 3 or anything. It's just the basic one. I was kind of wanting to get the one with the rev limiter in it, which would have been the 3, the flamethrower 3, I think. But I really don't need it. I mean, I do run this thing pretty hard, but I know when to shift. I really don't need the rev limiter for, you know, I can get by without it, basically. So I got the basic one, that way I just get the ability to have electronic ignition and then upgrade to one of their flamethrower coils. And I got to read up a little bit more because I think you have to upgrade the plug wires. These are newer plug wires, but I don't know if they're like what they recommend. But I'll kind of get more into that when we install that. And I'll do a little bit more research and kind of go on that topic then. But I'm pretty excited about it. I've been kind of talking to the wife for a while to upgrade, put electronic ignition. It's really, I think I paid $60 for it, $30 for the coil. That sounds about right. And the coil was pretty bad on this thing, so you could tell it was just real dirty and nasty. And I don't know if they leaked, but it was kind of moist. I don't know if that's a sign of them going bad or not. But anywho, that'll be coming up once I get this button back up. So I'm just going to get everything cleaned up on the block, get it ready for the heads. Don't know if I get the heads on tonight or that'll just be a continuation of this video for another day. I'll try and shoot a little bit when I can here and there. So I'm gonna get the block cleaned up and we'll go from there. And I was going to clean up all this gunk here where antifreeze is basically just kind of leaked and it just looks disgusting. I think I'm going to hold off and go ahead and put the heads on, and then I can, once I get the engine back together and running, because I'm kind of just anxious to see if it still leaks antifreeze. I think this is going to solve it. And the intake is what was leaking. I don't know if I said that in the other video, but it was the intake. The back passenger side corner was leaking. And I think the big issue is the cork gaskets were used with the Edelbrock intake, which the instructions say not to do that. And also it says just use RTV, which is what I'm going to do. And the Felpro gaskets looked like they just weren't holding, and from what I've seen on the instructions as well, it says to use their Edelbrock gaskets. Now I don't know if you actually need the Edelbrocks, but the print O-seal, but they have like a sealant around the ports. Almost looks like a little mini flattened O-ring. I know Felpro makes a version of that gasket, but I just went ahead and bought the Edelbrocks because it said in the instructions a part number, so I ordered it, and there really wasn't a price difference. So if I'm having issues, then I'm just going to do what the instructions say, and then we'll see what happens. And once I get it back together, I get it buttoned up, it's running, and I know we're done with the antifreeze leak. I know it's been taken care of. Then I'll probably pull the front off because just like the water pump timing cover, you know, the timing chain cover, and just clean all that back up a little bit, make it look a little bit more show worthy, even though it's not really a show car, but just to make it look a little bit better in my eyes. So let's go. I'm gonna start cleaning. Now that I got most of the block cleaned, what I'm going to do next is tap out all the, not really tap, I'm going to chase the threads out on the block with a tap or a chase, whatever you want to call it. But just to make sure all the threads are clean, and then I'll blow them out real good with compressed air. The thread size on this is they're 7/16 bolt, 7/16 by 14 is the actual bolt size and thread pitch. So I'm going to go do that now. I really don't have anything to fit the tap other than just a regular wrench, so it's just going to be arm tiring, but we'll get it done. So we'll do that now. Alright guys, back day 2. What we're going to do today is just finish up some tidying, just some last minute, just quick wipe downs, and then we're going to get the heads put back on. The head gaskets I bought are these Victor Ryan's, just your average replacement for $289 from this company. I basically got these because I was doing a little bit of research on the internet, and a lot of people spoke highly of these. And I happened to go on Rock Auto and they had them on sale, kind of like one of their clearance pages. So I got them a good deal. So, and I'm looking at them. I compare them to the Felpros I took off, and they're identical. So all looks well with them. They look like identical coatings and everything. So I'm not too worried about them. Everybody seems to like these. So that's what we're gonna put on. So I got going to work on getting the passenger side all kind of buttoned up and together. I still got to clean the head, get it set on, and then we'll kind of get this buttoned up, clean the bolts, just kind of miscellaneous stuff, and then we'll get the stuff bolted on. Alright, got the passenger side ready, head gasket on, head's cleaned, everything ready to go. Got the bolts. I ran them through like a die just to clean the threads out. All look good and clean. So let's get this sucker on and torqued. It's torqued in 3 stages up to 70 foot-pounds, I think. I need to double check my paper. But it's torqued at 3 stages, so I gotta get my torque wrench and stuff out. But here we go. Alright. Not too bad. A little heavy. Easier getting it out than it is putting it in. I'm not trying not to scar up the gasket. I think we're good. Got our bolts put in, torque down, and we'll be rolling. The front and back end, that way I just don't oddly enough I don't knock it off the dowel pins. Get them all finger tight here, and then they're torqued down in 3 stages. The max is 70 foot-pounds. You go 45, 55, and then 70. And then you're done. With one side, at least. Alright, and with torque wrench, we'll start with the first 45 foot-pound rating. And these Mustangs came with they had a hypo year and a non-hypo. This is obviously a non-hypo, so pay attention to that when you do your torquing because they require different torque settings. So there's one for 45. That's actually extremely long here. I'm kind of hitting my fender well. See if we can do that without that extension. Thought I wouldn't be able to, but let's see. Oh, that makes me happy. Money. Money! Work your way out. The instructions really didn't specify, working your way out, what way to go, so I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, I'm not going to bore you with any more. This is basically put together. Well, the one side. I got to get the other side stuff cleaned up now. Get it on. But you've seen enough of that, so I'm not going to bore you with any of that. And once it's all put back on, I'll get back to you. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out. I know it's kind of boring stuff, but sometimes working on these cars is not the most exciting thing. I mean, it's nice to be able to start getting this thing back together. Let's turn that light on. It's nice to be able to get this thing back together, but you know, cleaning gaskets off of, you know, intakes and heads and blocks isn't the most exciting thing to sit and watch. I get it, but it's kind of time consuming, but you know, I don't find it, you know, annoying. I think it's kind of fun to do, and it's kind of busy work and see some progress. So as we stand now, heads are back on, torque down, everything's good there. I found a definitive reason of why this thing was leaking. The intake was leaking. So I got half of it kind of cleaned up. As you can see, it looks all nice and shiny now. I got to get the other half cleaned, and then it's just putting it together with the gaskets, the Edelbrock gaskets. Gasket sealer is recommended, so I bought some of that. Then I got some RTV. So hopefully the next video we'll get this intake on and bolted down and cinched up, and then we'll have to adjust the valves, do the distributor. There's a lot of little things left to do, but we'll get there. So like I said, thanks for hanging out. If you like this channel, you like what I'm doing here, like the video, subscribe to my channel, keep coming back, because we're going to keep getting this thing done. Once we get it running again, then we're going to look at doing the clutch in it. That way it'll be ready basically for spring. So I'm going to kind of get it all cinched up here. Like I said, I mentioned in the earlier video, I think it was earlier this video anyway, that I'm really excited to get this electronic ignition put on. That's going to be a big increase, I believe, with the starting and stuff. So I got to look at the carb, which is Edelbrock's 1406. Kind of sitting over here. It's always had kind of a weird issue with leaking. It's not really, I wouldn't say leaking fuel, but it doesn't hold it in the bowls. And I read that sometimes the bottom of these carbs have some screws that like to leak out somewhere. I can't see the bottom of it, but we'll get into that later. I'm going to kind of look at that, research just a little bit more, and go from there. So, like I said, see you guys next video.